Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of our Icenia into Albion campaign. I wanted to start today's episode by highlighting this small little region, this small little collection of territories here. This is what Albion died on. We lost approximately 40,000 men, actually probably more than that, trying to take over some of the Germanic territories, and indeed we actually did push them back beyond this river. However, we were only able to take just a handful of small settlements, and we really did bleed for it. So in our last episode, we fought a tremendously costly war. We really did bleed for it. In today's episode, we will probably be forced to deal with the harsh aftermath of that war, both politically as well as militarily. We will have to rebuild. So let us begin. First of all, I do have a couple of exiled armies. Let's get you. I don't know what you were doing back there, but let's go ahead and get you out of there. Send you up here. Looks like a couple of different places want grain. That's fine. I'm going to avoid that. I think my next avenue of conquest, I'm going to turn away from Germania for a minute. Although I might actually think about declaring war. I mean, against the Simnonians. They only have one ally, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so one ally would be a little bit easier to deal with. But I do think I might need to look southward into Gaul before looking back across the Rhine into Germany. Although I'm already kind of there. I've done a lot of colonizing over in the Germanic areas. We should look at some of our major cities. Let's go ahead and do that. Looks like here we need to build a aqueduct. Let's go ahead and build two, just so we have a little bit more room for expansion. Here I actually kind of want to build an aqueduct as well, although I think first I'm in this case. Oh, looks like we finally had an oratory advancement. That's going to be good. That's going to mean we can become even more civilized than we already are, and we are already very civilized. I don't have any tributes. I don't plan on doing a lot of assassinations, at least not until I kind of meet with Rome. So a lot of these inventions maybe aren't the best, but that'll be fine. Let's go ahead and actually here I'm going to build a training camp. Let's build two training camps. That'll just help me get a little bit more out of these freemen that I have. That's perfect. Let's look up Inventa. Inventa I don't have any room to grow in, so I think I'm going to go ahead and hit this promote infrastructure spending button. I like that button a lot. Let's look at our inventions. We did just get, right as the last episode ended, started getting a lot of tech ups. I think right away I know I'm going to want to go with naval supply lines. So that's going to help our siege. Monthly general loyalty is always going to be good, so I think I'm going to go ahead and get that one as well. Let's look. Omen power up. Also good. And what is this? National manpower by 5%. That's not terrible. Let's go ahead and get that one as well. I think that's all the inventions. That's all the inventions I can afford right now. I think that's also all the inventions that I'm interested from that list. Let's keep looking at some of these cities. I think I will go ahead and next opportunity I get. Nope. First, I need to appoint a new governor, it seems. Let's see. How about you? Effective governor, local slave output up by 10%. That's not bad. Plus, you're fairly loyal. You're going to be even more loyal once that happens. Although, wow, you lose loyalty very quickly, and it's because you're a pretender. I should have looked into that a little bit more. That's my bad. Oh, well. Oh, and you're really young. I might have to remove you as a governor relatively quickly. Yeah, I might actually think about going ahead and doing that now. It sucks for you, but instead, you are going to be my next governor. I don't love that policy, but whatever. We'll change it eventually. Alright, I do think I'm going to go ahead and get Province of Dementia gains maritime influx. That's going to increase their local population growth as well as their migration attraction. I like both of those things. Speaking of, I want to make sure that Ireland is well taken care of. Let's look at what we have here. First of all, I wanted to originally make this a little bit more important of a settlement. Right now it is just a settlement. I could let's go ahead and change this from the governor policy from cultural assimilation to centralized population. That's going to hopefully push more just pops into this little settlement. Let's see, you want wood? I'll go ahead and give you that. And now what else? What else? You are a decently sized city, although you have a lot of non-Iceni pops. So for now, I don't really want you to have to bleed them dry. That's not great. I want you cultural assimilating. And to make that happen just a little bit faster, I might think about investing in promoting some infrastructure spending. We gain 10 stability. I'll never complain about that. I think I'm going to go ahead and make it so that my capital of this province is its major city. So we'll go ahead and do that. It's going to cost me a little bit of political influence, but a little bit of political influence is okay. Go ahead and trade away some livestock and fish. I think I'm doing pretty well on food at the moment, and I'm happy to just increase how much money I'm making. In fact, if I really wanted to increase how much money I was making, I could turn down my army and fleet maintenance, although I'm not that worried about it. It seems to me like my army and fleet are pretty strong. Let's go ahead and just combine these two armies. They were designed to be just kind of a stack of 15 that I could use. I'm going to build probably a lot of these, where I have 5 heavy infantry, 5 light cavalry, and 5 archers. If you do have any suggestions about better army composition, I always want to hear. I want to hear what works for you. Obviously, I would love to add more things like horse archers, maybe even elephants into the mix. Of course, that might be a little ways down the line. You're gaining lots of loyalty. I'm going to go ahead and make you a new commander here. Looks like I'll trade away some earthenware. That's going to be okay. I don't want to trade away that grain, though. I could think about maybe getting the civilization change up. Actually, I am going to go and do that because that's going to help a lot of the recently conquered territories to just help them gain a little bit more civilization value a little faster. I also should think about, like, for instance, you could be a city. In fact, I'll probably go ahead and make you a city when I can. You could also be a city. So I would like to go ahead and build cities in most of my ports. Are you a city? Yes, you are. I guess I can go ahead and delete some of these theaters. So let's go ahead and I'm going to delete 2 of the theaters. And I'm going to go ahead and just build some... let's see. I'm going to build some academies and a library, of course. And I'm going to change this from local autonomy to centralize population. And I'm going to make the capital... Well, I guess I'm going to leave the capital where it is. So maybe that changing that to centralized population was actually a bad idea. But it is what it is. It will be fine. Our army, thankfully, is regaining its depleted manpower very quickly. So that is, of course, very good. I think a major concern with our last big fight, our last big war, was that we were fighting more troops than we had. I think it's good to take a deep dive. We did not lose the last war. In fact, we did take some land, but it was not near the victory that we as the Iceni are used to, or us as the Albion people are used to. We are used to unmatched and unparalleled victories. It was the first roadblock that we've really had. So, well, at least with the exception of that time when I decided to just see what the AI could do without my interference, I was testing out some of the new buttons, specifically, the buttons that, independent operations or defend borders. I was just seeing what the AI could do without me helping at all, and that was not super successful. However, I actually did gain more territory in that war by not touching the armies at all than I did when I was fighting these just hordes of migratory tribesmen. We did kind of get a sense of what the Romans must have felt in real life when they crossed over the Rhine into Germany and had to face just the hordes of men in the German forests. Let's go ahead and finish building on this army. Let's see. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and build 4 more archers and a couple more skirmishers. And in this case, I'm going to build 2 chariots and 3 heavy cavalry. That will make the army nice and juicy, whereas we'll have to be careful about the attrition it takes. But I think that that could be a decent enough formula for helping to crush some of the heavy infantry that we may start to encounter, without necessarily building a ton of heavy infantry on for ourselves. I do, however, want to build more heavy infantry. In fact, I probably should go ahead and do that. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just build another one of these 15 stacks where it's 5 archers, 5 heavy infantry, and 5 light cav. So let's just go ahead and start that process. I'm going to just start out by building 1 warriors. Let's move you to here so that you have fast access to mainland Europe and Gaul. Let's look at our military traditions, because I'm not super excited about a lot of the ones that we have coming up, although, well, both of these are actually great. So I might actually start to exercise some troops. I haven't really been doing that, but it might be in... Oh, granaries raided. Let's see. Ooh, I could make Urca cover the cost. That's tempting. Or I could cover the cost. I lose a bunch of money, but I make so much money at this point, I'm not super worried about it. They get increased loyalty. I'm going to do this one. Let's go ahead and put a general in charge of you. Someone a little bit more loyal, though. You are loyal, but barely. You are loyal. I'm going to go with you. And I know that... let's go ahead and train you. Let's drill you. When you arrive, I'll drill you as well. Let's start drilling some troops. It's going to mean that I make less money, but I'm making so much money. And I am now of the mindset that better quality troops are going to be important as we move forward, especially as we enter into conflicts with Rome. So for now, let's actually just drill all of our men. Let's see. I want to move you somewhere else. Let's move you here. Nope, let's move you here. And we'll drill you. Let's see how that is impacting our economy. Yeah, it's impacting our economy quite a bit. But it is also going to slowly start helping tick up our military expertise, which is, of course, good. Let's look at our national overview. A bunch of our colonizing land is still focused on the cultural assimilation, which I like. Where are you? I do not get to see when I zoom out too far. Oh, over here. Cultural assimilation's good there. What's this? Where is this province? Buria? Alright, Buria. Oh, I'm not super worried about Buria. I barely own any of it. Although I do have 15,000 men just kind of sitting around up here. Let's go ahead and move these 15,000 men to this port city. I love that I have a port city this far inland. I think that is so cool, and I really love the navigable rivers. I guess if I wanted, I could just sail my my fleet right on in there. I'll go ahead and get rid of some of my base metals. That's fine. I don't like that you're taking attrition. Can you go somewhere that won't take attrition? How about right there? Let's do that. Let's also give you someone in charge. Someone decently in charge who's not losing a ton of loyalty would be perfect. How about you? You only are... You're 40. And you're only a 4 marshal. That's not amazing, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. We have a lot of generals out there. We also could ransom a few more. Let's see what they would do it for. They would do it... Okay, so they want a ton of money. Unfortunately, I just don't think I'm going to pay for them. Unfortunately, they knew what they got into, and I don't see a reason to pay that sum of money to take a couple just very generic characters, which I have just a ton of, and buy them back. Unfortunately, I think, and I know that they are working on fixing this in the Livy update, which is hopefully going to come out relatively soon. I'd love it if it came out before the end of the year. before the end of 2019, although I have a feeling it's going to be early 2020 when Livy comes out. It's just a feeling. I don't have any like expert sourcing on that or anything. In fact, if anyone knows of a time frame that Paradox has mentioned, I would love to hear about it in the comments. I would love to know as much as possible about the Livy update. And I know that one of the things that they want to work on is how the families are oriented, because right now I could just kind of give a... I don't care about the families, and for the most part I really don't care about my characters, which I think is a major detractor and something that a lot of people have rightfully complained a lot about. I do know that they are working on trying to fix that, though. I'll put you in charge. Maybe that'll help your loyalty. Yeah, you're still losing loyalty every month. It is, I feel like, harder to maintain loyalty of a larger nation. I need to, you know, kind of be thinking about it a little bit more. I'm okay with the aunt of the governor of Belgica being disloyal. Although one of my researchers is being disloyal, that's not great. Let's see who it might be. You are loyal, you are loyal, you are loyal, so it must be you. Let's take a look. Can I give you something, like just a bribe? Gain some corruption, but I'll bribe you, make you a little more loyal. Of course, you're just going to lose that anyway, so that's just lost money, I guess. We should be thinking about where we want to expand. We're already making getting more military experience, which means we are getting closer to being able to... I'm going to take this one next, the Coming of Age, the light infantry defense up by 10%, since I am using a lot of light infantry. And of course, army attrition is going to be extremely useful in some of, you know, these extremely, like, low supply regions. All right. The preeminent Cartortitus Doratus. So some say that throughout Albion there is one constant. The deeds and character of whatever his name is, precede him from the villas of the capital to the shabbiest border town. He has risen to great prominence and position as a public servant and aristocrat, and through his legendary private soirees has the ear of everybody worth knowing in Venta. Venta being the most civilized and large country or capital city in the world. He could no doubt make a useful domestic ally. I can invite him to an expensive banquet. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll gain some, but he'll be very loyal. I mean, I don't really care about family prestige, and instead, actually, I would like that. But he's the general of the heavy ones, and so I do actually want him to be kind of loyal. I'll go ahead and just do that. That works. Anyway, what I was saying is I'm really looking forward to the living off the land. That army attrition down is going to be huge, as well as, of course, manpower recovery speed. Although I am getting a lot of manpower back every month. We are already almost back to our pre-German invasion levels. With that said, I need to think about where I'm going to focus on next. What about the Bohemians? You have a couple allies, including the Sassonians, which are way over here. I'm not worried about the Sassonians at all. I don't really know if I need to be invading Bohemia quite yet, or Bohemians. Although I could maybe kind of complete this little circle around Gaul and just kind of cordon it off and say, hey, all of this is mine, except for what the Romans are getting. In fact, though, what I think I need to be doing is, one, I want to connect these two provinces together. It looks like I'm getting just death after death. Let's go ahead. A new marshal. I'm not super worried about what happens with the marshal. Okay, so cut out the middleman. Lately, rumors focused on the increasingly frequent matrimonial tiffs between the emperor and his consort have been circling the palace, creating an atmosphere that is dividing the court and repelling visitors. The darkest of these yarns tells of an imminent assassination of the emperor by the consort's hand. Oh no. And the heir to the throne, the child of the emperor, might succeed to the throne immediately under the consort's guidance and thus bypass the emperor entirely. Alright, I don't necessarily want that, although he is maybe a little bit better and he's a little younger. That's probably going to hurt my legitimacy a little bit. You know what? I'm kind of okay if he becomes emperor. We'll see what happens. We'll just play with it. I'm going to let this plot plan out. Instead, the governor of Germania, my wife, is going to gain 10 loyalty, so maybe she won't do it after all. We'll have to see. I'll go ahead and trade away some of those base metals. let's go back and look at what we can do about our marshal. You're fairly loyal. I'm going to go with you. And please stay loyal. Yeah, alright, so it's not going up or down per month. That's fine. Alright, let's check out the government tab. I could demand Oaths of Allegiance to make him more popular, it seems. I could hold some games that will make me more popular, and the money doesn't come out of the country's treasury, it comes out of my personal treasury. I don't really see a reason not to do that, except for the fact, I mean, yeah, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and hit this button. Cool. And I don't really see a need to do that. In fact, with 100 political power, oh, look, the danger recedes. The tensions between the Emperor and his consort seem to have abated, and the vile murmurings of treason have disappeared from the stoa of the palace. Perhaps the matter was simply a poor attempt at humor, or indeed the consort may have come to her senses. Hopefully she has come to her senses. Hopefully it was never the case. Let's go ahead and look at you. Oh yeah, definitely fabricate a claim. Sorry, I'm going to have to conquer you. Let's also look at you. You have... Oh, you paid tribute to someone. If I declare war, you will be called in. Oh, that's a lot of... that's a very large defensive league. I'll have to watch out for that. Not super worried about the defensive league, although I wasn't super worried about the Germans, the Germanic tribes, and they just had just so many men, so many more men than I did. I also didn't necessarily handle that war very well. I thought I had it all wrapped up instead, so I didn't really move all my troops in a coordinated fashion, which I think really helped me. Let's take a look at the laws as I see that enact law costs down. Anything worth getting? No, I don't necessarily want... I like the manpower recovery speed up. I don't like this no taxation law. What can I do here? Oh, something happened. I'll go ahead and pause it this time. I can get army maintenance down by 15%. Wow, and monthly general loyalty up. That is kind of big, but monthly governor loyalty goes down. Although, I guess I could combine exemption for nobility with non-interference edict, and right now I kind of even have this ability to do so. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to click this button first. That's going to mean make my army significantly less expensive. And I have the stability. Well, that would actually put me down to 25 stability. So when I get some more stability, which I might think about going ahead and hitting the button, I will hit the stab the pig button to help me gain stability back a little bit faster. And then when I gain back some stability, I'll change another law. I'll go ahead and trade away some furs. I'm okay with that. And you know what? I'll trade away some fish too. And some hemp. Why not? And some livestock. Again, why not? So I'm fabricating a claim. This war shouldn't be anything huge. I might even consider just... I won't hire any mercenaries, but... especially with my economy just humming the way it is, I'm not worried or scared off by mercenaries. I'm surprised that I'm still only making... Oh, I guess a lot of it's because I'm still just drilling troops. I'm actually going to go ahead and drill you as well. Carthage wants to trade for some wood. I'll go ahead and give them some wood. They want some fish. I'll give them some fish. That's fine. Let's go ahead and just take a look. Look at this. The research points are way up there at 153.9 research points per month. Surely that means that we are catching up with some of the Romans, right? Let's take a look. We are on tech, military advances, what, 5? Where is Rome? Rome is on military advances 7, so we are actually quite a ways from catching up, but we have a higher manpower maximum, so really we need to go ahead and replenish all of our manpower if we're going to challenge Rome, as well as maybe take some more land off of some of these barbarians to the south of us. I think that war will be very quick. Yep. Sorry, my power just flickered, but my computer seems to be okay, and I did not stop recording, so it was a little weird. Anyway, sorry, I have an omen power. Let's go ahead and keep going with national citizen output. I like that omen a lot. It gets me a little bit more commerce income, as well as helps me with my research points. It's going to pop, as soon as this month's over, it should pop up and refresh that omen. Yes, and it goes from 135 to 155. That is awesome. I'm going to go ahead and I think get the Tribesman Happiness invention. Or maybe Tribesman Output. I'm going to go Tribesman Output first. Although I'm also going to look to get that Tribesman Happiness invention. Just because not necessarily because I want to keep my tribesmen around. In fact, I like having as few tribesmen as possible. I just don't... They're not as efficient as the other pops. But the thing is, with all the land that I'm conquering, I mean, look, I'm going to have some tribesmen. It's just going to be a thing. If I click on all the land that is mine for the taking eventually, there are a lot of tribesmen here in all of these provinces. So I'm going to take them, and while I'm going to try to convert them very quickly, they are unfortunately just kind of, you know, I have to deal with them. They're going to be there. I'm going to go ahead and you're loyal to me, right? You're going to stay loyal to me? I'll believe you. Speaking of, you can see that we are spreading the Iceni culture around. That's perfect and good. And as we continue to do that, I'm actually going to go ahead and switch off some of these culture conversion edicts, or I guess governor policies. For instance, here, I think we are going to be fine. Let's see. Yeah, I think here we're actually kind of fine switching from... well, definitely don't want to be in local autonomy. Let's change that. Instead, I think I want to be in civilization effort. Let's go ahead and make this a very civilized province in Nervia. I'm going to go ahead and buy that National Tribesman Happiness. Hopefully that will make the recently conquered populations just a little bit more docile. The economy's still looking good. Now that I'm back over that 40 mark, I'm actually going to go ahead and drill you as well. Again, that's all just going to help me increase the military experience gain. It's also going to make my troops a little bit more efficient without necessarily having to work super hard to do it, just pay a little bit of money. Let's go ahead, and I know this is going to cost me some manpower and some money, but I'm going to go ahead and get 4 more warriors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mounted skirmishers, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 archers. I like that little army composition. Again, if you know of a better way I should be building these armies, please just go ahead and comment it down below. I'm always interested in hearing what other types of army formations and army compositions other people seems to work for other people. Let's see where our war fabrication is. We are getting there. I'm going to go ahead and just move these 18,000 men into position. We shouldn't need many more men than that. This is really just a war to unite our 2 provinces. I'll go ahead and trade away those furs. That's fine. What about you? You are in that huge defensive league. Are you in that huge defensive league? You are actually not. But, yeah, so I'm going to fabricate that claim. You pay tribute to someone in that huge defensive league, though. If I declare war against one of their subject states, do they get a chance to call in all of their defensive league allies? They probably do, so I need to be a little careful of that. I'll trade away that hemp, that's fine. And I'm going to go ahead and drill you. Getting a pretty decent military experience change per day by 0.47. So moving on up in the world, that's good. Keep trading away that hemp, that's fine. Let's look at some of the governor policies. Ooh, this is a good way to do governor policies. I've been going over like the nation overview, but that just kind of gets a little intense with the AI. Do you know what I haven't had to worry about in a really long time, in several episodes? Barbarian invasion. Let's take a look. Yeah, no, the barbarian chances are nil. It sounds like we have successfully civilized the north. With that said, I think maybe it's time to go ahead and change this off of like civilization efforts. So let's take a look at what we have here. We are mostly Iceni, some Picts, fully druidic. We have a lot of slaves. Lots of slaves. And do we have any cities here? Let's check that out. You're not a city, are you? Yes, you are a city. So let's go ahead and since, you know, we have a city here, let's start building something useful. How about an academy? That'll help prop promotion speed. And, don't have to worry about province loyalty. Don't really worry about a granary. Alright, let's just increase the citizen ratio. Well, unfortunately for these people, that war claim fabrication has finished, which means they are about to face the full might of the Iceni armed forces. In this case, that full might is led by the Emperor of Albion himself, and he is going to try to gain himself some glory by smashing their army of 8,000 men. Indeed, it doesn't seem like they stand much of a chance. They are going to crumple compared to our better trained and heavier troops. And now we are going to sit on their territory and take it. This war should be done in just a few minutes, very quickly. I'm going to go ahead and let the looting be gentle. I'm okay with that. Plus, it helps my popularity out. I guess all of them help my popularity out. I'm just going to let the looting be gentle. It's fine. How big of a city was it? It was only 12 pops. Or it's only 12 pops now. So, I'm feeling good. I think a good, very small war to help us just kind of get back on track after we, again, didn't suffer a defeat, but definitely didn't get that complete victory that we really needed against the Germans, the Germanic people. And just like that, we have completely taken their province, and we are going to completely annex them for one aggressive expansion. Speaking of aggressive expansion, I cannot wait until we start getting some of those inventions that start to tick it down a little bit faster. I think that's going to be immensely beneficial. Let's look at the land we've captured. I'm going to move them to here. I think that's a good spot for them not to take any attrition. We have one... No, so that's actually a settlement. Alright, so they're both going to be settlements. You are still the capital of this province, but I think I'm ready to move the capital... Oh no, you are the capital of this province. I think I'm going to go ahead and move it to one of these cities. Which one's the bigger one? You have 11 out of 15, 10 out of 18, so it really doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and move it here. And change this from local autonomy to centralized population. Let's go back, keep working on, yeah, for instance, I like after converting a bunch of these pops, I don't love the idea of leaving it on like local autonomy. Let's go back to, let's take a look. You could still definitely use with some culture converting, so let's culture convert. Also, are there any big cities in this province? If there aren't, no, it doesn't appear so, although I might build a city here. Oh, we could lose a bunch of gold but have monthly legitimacy go up. I actually think I'm going to go ahead and do that. Monthly legitimacy up is useful after all. Let's see. Any provinces like here, you probably don't need to be on civilization value anymore. We, how much? Alright, so yeah, we can change this. Alright, so what would we want to change this to? We're on local civilization value up now. We have that other city of Venta here. Where's our capital of this province? So it's there. It's a settlement. I think I'm going to want to move the capital to Venta. Don't quite have the resources to do that yet. And then I think I'm going to go with pop promotion speed. So that would be social mobility, right? No, yeah, you know what? First things first, I'm going to move the population, and then I think I'm going to work on centralizing the population. Just to push a few more of them into the cities. Speaking of, what's your governor policy? Social mobility, I like that one. That one helps a lot. Look at how fast these pops promote away from these tribesmen. Let's get rid of these tribesmen, y'all. 60 out of 67. I almost would be tempted to build another aqueduct. No, not yet. Instead, I am once again just going to hit that library button. And I actually think that this is where I need to call it quits for today. But I know that I haven't done a ton of expanding, although I have linked up some of my land here in the west with the rest of my mainland conquered locations in Europe itself. We are going to eventually continue to push into Germany because I really do want to take all of Germany and even like the southern tip of Scandinavia. I really want to grab all of that at some point. I feel like owning that, being able to lock it down is really going to secure me from the Romans to the south. I worry that the more I start pushing into this territory, one, I will have to interact with that pretty strong defensive league, which once I get enough manpower, I'm not going to worry about it too much. But Rome is a greater threat. Rome has just as much, and they're actually out-tech me, so that's quite alarming there, as well as they, I think, even have more cohorts built. Carthage is, of course, expanding as well, and this has just become a free-for-all and just an absolute melee for control of what was once the Great Persian Empire, then the Great Seleucid Empire, then briefly again the Persian Empire, and now is just a collection of small states. Anyway, I have been Ben the Bold, you have been you, this has been Albion, and its rise to greatness. I hope to continue this rise, and I hope you'll join me on that journey, and I will see you on the next one.